So we have a John Deere x350 here. This basically was sitting at a house that went into foreclosure, and the company that went in to clear everything out ended up picking up this mower, and then they tried to get it to work, and then they couldn't get it to work, and then it sat in a warehouse for like several years. So they ended up giving it to us. So now we're going to go ahead and see if we can get it running. So first thing I always like to do is kind of check what we're looking at. Looks like this whole hood's all messed up. I like to check oil, like to check gas.
It's got the O'Reilly special battery.
It definitely does. It actually looks like it has looks like oil's like brand new.
This is a pretty new mower.
It is. And let's see here. Ooh, I got lights. It has, if you look right here, 16.9 hours on it. So it's basically brand new. Let's see. In terms of gas, it looks like it has gas in it. So engine does turn over. Okay, so now that I kind of did a quick general look on this, this is other stuff that he kind of gave. It was just a box full of stuff that goes back on here. We'll put it all back on, but it looks like they replaced the carburetor, because I see a carburetor.
Special.
Yeah, and it does look like an Amazon special. And this is the box. Oh yeah, this is definitely made in China.
Tape on it.
Yep, made in China.
Well, the tape is a giveaway. Everything you get from China is bundled in this weird packing plate.
Yeah, so
Food packets.
yeah, so
Chinese.
I might have to do some modifications on that. I don't know just yet. So we're gonna go ahead and try to fire this up, just see what happens. But in order to do that, gotta put the brake on. And, oh, I just got my butt wet. All right, so the battery is weak, because it just attempted to start and then it stopped, and then I tried again and same thing. So I'm gonna grab my deep cycle battery with the jump pack, or not jump pack, jumper cables, and we're gonna help give this thing a boost. And then the battery looks like it's brand new, 524, so it's probably sat since 524, so that means they worked on this at least last year.
But they got the 230 cold cranking amp from O'Reilly's.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an O'Reilly special.
And that's not a very big cranking amp for $60.
Yeah, it should work at least, but let's see what we got. So we'll hook that up. I'm going to wipe that seat down because I got my butt all wet. All right, so now try. I feel like that's not. All right, so we get nothing there. So let's shoot a little starter fluid and see what happens. Loosen this up. Oh wait, this is all loose. Okay, we'll fix that.
Right there.
Yep. Give her a little help me juice. I'm gonna put that on it. And we'll try again. Ooh, we got some movement.
Runs.
So let's try it again. Maybe. We'll see.
You're gonna get the opportunity to see dig through this Amazon carb.
Yeah, we might.
The original.
We might. We'll find out. I'm hoping. I'm choking it right now, full choke. Okay, so what I'm noticing is when I...
Oil.
No, that's choke. Well, that's probably oil there. But I had to run it on choke in order to keep it going. So that tells me it's acting restricted. So generally what happens is, like if it's running lean and it's like surging or stuff, and if you just apply a little bit of choke and it starts to go away, that tells you that you have it's running slightly too lean, and that could be more than likely the main jet is partly plugged. So we're gonna have to pull this open and we're gonna have to check. But before I do that, I notice these hose clamps are loose on here. I just wanna check fuel flow, make sure we're not having any issues in that regards. Let me grab a clamp. I grabbed a little cup, and then I'm pulling this off directly off the carb. Oops. And then I'm gonna crank this over. I have to turn it off and then I turn it back on. So yeah, it's
blowing oil smoke up the exhaust.
And that fluid does not look right. I actually
Burn that? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that doesn't look right. So we're gonna drain this tank first, which also means that the carb is probably full of this crap too. And if you look out here, let me grab a bowl. It's a little harder to see, but you can see actually there's a layer there.
Water, yeah.
Yeah, there's water. So let me grab.
He's a picky eater.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't want to run on water.
So if you notice, right between here and here, there's the clear layer right here, and then there's a lower layer. That right there is like water or something.
This owner took a piss in the gas tank.
Something. So we're going to, I'm gonna see if I can try to just blow some of that out. So let me grab a little, and what I like to use is a dog bowl. I find it easier. Just pour that in here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull that off. I'm gonna disconnect this fuel line here. Dog bowl set up right here with the fuel line going into it. And then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take the cap off using my air, and then I'm gonna put my hand over this and try to blow some of this out. And I can already see from here, there is a lot of...
You can see the layers.
Yeah, you can really see the layers there. So I'm gonna keep going until I see most of it just clear. And then I'm gonna see if I can hopefully get away without having to pull the carb. But I may have to do it. So, oh yeah, that gas is looking pretty bad. Yeah, look at that. It almost looks like oil.
It doesn't look like oil. It looks like somebody took a leak in it.
Got a few mortgage company.
So we're gonna keep going. Probably gonna fill that up about halfway and then switch bowls and...
Well, the tank looks full, so you're gonna need some...
Well, I'm hoping all the nastiness is down low, but I don't know how much is in there. So we'll find out here in a second. Because yeah, that tank is full. Basically, we have to drain this whole tank. It has a lot of bad fluids in it. So it's gonna take a little bit.
So it wasn't just the you also have the 2 idler pulleys on the back?
We drained and flushed out the gas tank. I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you what it kind of looks like as it starts to separate. When you let the stuff sit, it starts to kind of separate. And you can see the clear stuff, which is generally the good stuff, is up here. And then all this other nasty stuff, like water or whatever. Yeah, you don't want any of that in your carb. So that's just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, especially after it sits. That's why if it's cloudy, get rid of it. And I was hoping that it sat for a while enough to kind of, you know, sit all to the bottom and get it out, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, probably because I moved it around and jostled it. So we blew out the fuel line from here to here, but we need to blow out from the fuel pump to the carb. So let me grab some paper towels over here, gently just kind of blow out. And I'm not going like full blast, you know, I'm just gently. Yep, and that's good. So now we can reinstall this fuel line. Let me grab my clamp, which I think, yeah, it's over here. So this rehook up that, and I'm gonna rehook up this one over here. Looks like they disconnected this. I'm just gonna double check. So this is pulse, and that, yeah, so everything looks fine there. There's nothing I need to worry about. I just wanna make sure it wasn't hooked up on like an inlet, but it has P, or hold on, let me actually grab a flashlight. Yep, P on it. Indicating for pulse, and then there's usually like an arrow, yep, arrow saying this way, and so we know that's right. And then down here there'd be an arrow pointing this way, and it's right in there. So I didn't get that hose clamp on all the way, so let me get that installed all the way on there. Okay, so now I know the carburetor is going to have gunk and fuel and stuff in it. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pull the bowl off of it. I'm hoping I don't have to pull the whole carb off since it looks fairly new, but we gotta pull this hood off. It's already been disconnected here for the headlights. And then generally on this one, it looks like it should just kind of lift up and out. And you can see the hook there for the front. So we're going to set this aside. So what I want to do is I want to pull this fuel solenoid off, because what I want to do is I want to get the fluids out of this carburetor, and I'm hoping I don't have to go through and clean all the rest of it, but we might have to. But I'm just going to do that real quick, and then we'll test it. So in order to do that, I got to pull this off, and I have a few wrenches that I have shaved down, because usually what happens is between the fuel solenoid to the bowl, they can get so thin where you have to have like a really thin wrench. This is a normal 13 mil, really low profile, but some of them I don't have. So I have a few that I've already shaved down, and there we go. So get this fuel solenoid off. I'm gonna put,
Yeah, it smells so bad.
it does smell bad. So I'm gonna pull this fuel solenoid off like so. I'm gonna hold this bolt up, and yeah, all kinds of nasty. Yeah, I can tell there that fluid was not right. And you look in here, same gig, same stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow this off. And then I'm gonna just put my finger over this just so I don't lose the gasket. And then I'm gonna put my finger over this pin here for the float bowl, so this doesn't go flying. And I'm gonna just gently kind of blow over here, just kind of get some of that stuff off. You can see the gasket up here. Just try, if you take it off, just try to keep that on there. Sometimes these are a pain to get back on unless you pull the whole carb off. But let's see if this works. So we cleaned out the carb. I mean, it's overall didn't look horrible. It's just had a lot of bad gas in it. But this is also a knockoff carburetor, which I've had a lot of issues with. Before I reinstall this, I'm gonna put a little bit of seafoam on this paper gasket, so when we go to tighten it, it doesn't rip it. So let me grab my seafoam. So I'm gonna soak that a little bit. And then we'll put this bowl back on here, taking care of, oh, one thing before I do put that on, and that's why I didn't hook this fuel line back up. I'm gonna gently blow through the fuel inlet to hopefully get any little bit of residual out of there. And so far, everything looks like it is clear. So I'll get this back on, hoping not to pop that gasket off, because they can be a pain. And then tighten this by hand, while holding the float bowl up. Okay, I just got it snug. Now I'll grab that same wrench, which is this one. I'm not sure what size this is. I think, yeah, unfortunately I don't know what size this is on this particular mower. All right, so I just got it snug. Then with it snug, you can generally rotate these fuel solenoids, but just take care in doing so. So you like that, and it's not rotating, it's not loosening it, I should say. And then just plug this back in. I'm gonna pull this fuel-soaked rag out, and then we're gonna go ahead and reconnect this fuel line. But actually, before we do that, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this fuel line off. I'm gonna grab this other bowl that I just drained of some nasty gas. And then I'm gonna set it right here. I'm gonna put some fresh gas in that tank. And then we're gonna have to kind of prime it. All right, put this back, or before I put that on, I'm gonna grab my air. I'm just gonna kind of help it down. You could just crank it over, but my battery is basically dead on this thing. So I'm going to just kind of help with air. There we go, perfect. So now that we kind of primed it, pinch the line, go back over here and reconnect it into that carburetor and hook up that fuel line. So now we'll go ahead and try cranking it over. Look at that. Perfect. Cool. So we didn't have to go through the carburetor. Depending on how long it's sat and stuff, sometimes you have to go through that, or depending on if it's new or old. This is new, it's a knockoff, and I'm actually surprised it's working really well right now. So I'm gonna call that a success on that part. Now we need to get it all back together. So looking at all our nice little parts here, including that nice little spider, it looks like this shield, so that's the only downside, is like now it's just kind of a big puzzle and trying to figure out where everything goes. It looks like this shield goes on there. It has a couple little spots, like right here, where the metal can kind of stick up in. So, but you also got to kind of sneak it under where the fuel valve, or not fuel valve, fuel solenoid will sit right here. So making sure these are on the outside, move that down, and then sits on just like that. And then it's being held by a few screws, which I need to see if I got in this bucket of stuff.
No screw.
Let's see here. I do see. Just gonna empty it all out here on the floor. Those, I think those are it. Yep. So it looks like we have something that goes over probably some fuses. Yep. And let's get all these out of the way, because that's just garbage.
Is there a dead slug in it?
Yep, looks like a nice little slug. All kinds of cool, interesting things. So it looks like these guys. And we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I had, right here, 6. And I bet you these are 10 mil. So let me grab my little impact here. Grab my wobbly that I love so much. Grab a 10 mil. And usually I'll hand start all of these before there we go. And I'll get on that side, get the rest of them. And the reason why you want to kind of hand start them all first loose is because if you get one all tight, you may not be able to shift things around as easy. So it's just easier just to get them all loose in there and then tighten them down. So let me grab this little impact. We'll start from over here. Now get on this side. And then now we need to get this everything also. This will seat in there. So I want to make sure everything else is in place. Looks like everything else is in its proper order. So now we got to get the cover on. So let's get the the engine cover. Pull that off. And it's going to go on here. I'm going to put this back on just so we don't drop anything in there, like dirt or anything. Cool. So that sits on there nicely. And let's see here. With all, I do know these little spacers. One generally goes here, and then this goes on like so. But what screws do we have? So we have these little screws. Looks like 3 of those.
The plastic ones will have that shoulder on for the plastics.
Yeah, this one is definitely plastic because you can see the threads. The thread on them are more ribbed. And then
this is also for the plastic strap.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to set them in like for like.
3 for the. Yeah, there you go. Puzzle it out.
All right, so it looks like these 3 looks very similar to what I normally see up here, and it would match. So, and I know these are Torx. So we'll put that, make sure those get in place. Lightly get those all in place. And then before I tighten that, I just want to check. So it looks like this extra, I know what this one goes to. This one actually, the larger shoulder one goes right here where the air dipstick, not the air, but the dipstick here, and then slides up, and then this should go all the way down and through. Yep, the third one over there, that's what I'm gonna do since we only have X amount of these. So I'm gonna put one here. It's the one with the shorter shoulder. And the same thing over here. And what's interesting is they didn't need to take these screws all the way out. They could have left them in because it looks like they're slotted here, and you can just slide this whole housing up and off of there. So we'll put this other one right over. I'm gonna put it over here. So we got one in the back and then one up front. All right, so we'll go ahead and snug these up, making sure they're seating in its right spot. Make it on this side. And then the one over by the dipstick, I'm gonna use a little ratchet over here. We'll get this on. There we go. Then the top is Torx. Let me grab my Torx bit. Let's make sure we get the right one. That's the wrong one. The larger one. Yep. All right, so now if I turn this by hand, yep, and nothing's hitting, so that's good. So now let's turn our attention to this air filter, make sure it is mounted properly.
Snoopy.
And let's turn the hose band like so. And what I like to do is I like to keep these up just a little bit so the air filter is not resting on this housing, because what happens is sometimes these don't, you'll get grass in here and it'll start plugging up these holes, and then you start getting water in here. And if you get water in here, then you start soaking the air filter, and I've seen them where the air filter gets so soaked and soft, you start sucking in some of that. Some of the air filters, see like this, looks like it's brand new. The air filter has the metal screen on the outside, but it doesn't have it on the inside, so it can suck in that paper filter. And I've seen that happen. So what I like to do is get this lower band on just enough where it's not sitting on the air filter housing. And then we'll go ahead and tighten that up. And I'm gonna move this band up. I don't like them when they're down on the side like that. I like it up like this, because if you have the hood on, then you have to, it's just a little bit more work. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and put the air filter cover back on. And there's that. Clip that and that. There we go. All right, so now, another thing we want to do is drop the deck. I want to check because we haven't engaged the PTO, I want to check to see if how the belts are and everything, because if the belts are, for whatever reason, they hit something and it's not, or the belt's not on there properly, then I can either just toast that belt when I first start it up, or hopefully I could save it. So it looks like everything's good. Now the question is, can I turn it over? Oh, that is hard to turn over.
Probably has a weight.
Yeah, the PTO. Yeah, okay, cool. And so another thing I've seen happen too is sometimes when they'll sit, they'll be all wet, and then they, just sitting for a long period of time. What can happen is sometimes this belt can really stick in this pulley area, and it almost like, just after so long, it's almost like glue. So that's why I also like to rotate them and stuff to see if I can pop it off. Otherwise, you got to pop the belt off.
Right, I think that's the wrong side.
Nice belt.
Nope, that's the right belt.
How come it doesn't seat into that full yellow way?
Because this is a special double V belt. So if you notice, right here is up high, and then it tapers, and then it tapers. So it's one of those double Vs because they are using. Yeah, so they're using all the pulleys are Vs. So like even on the back side of this one here, it's a V belt. So, all right. So now everything looks good there. We're gonna go ahead and take it out of bypass, and we will see if we can take it out in the yard and test it. So let's see. Take that off. Fire this thing up. Looks like they had a little zip tie on here. Well, we'll take that off. But she's running. I don't. Weird. Oh, that's for the where the deck hangs, or the hood hangs. Well, it's probably gonna fall down. I'm gonna leave it down. There's supposed to be pins for that. Whoop. This thing has all kinds of safeties. So I took the brake off and died. Yeah, the oil is like brand new in this thing. Whoop. So there might be a seat switch issue. And let's take a look. Oh, it's not even hooked up. But it looks like it's been bypassed, but if you notice, this isn't, it's not touching. So let me just see, let me just hook this up. Yeah, I don't think it was touching. Well, let's see. Yep, it works. So it wasn't bypassed properly. So when you're testing them, always make sure whatever you're testing, you're not sucking up rocks and stuff like that. So that's why I drive it out to the yard. I don't like to do it in the shop because I don't like stuff getting thrown in the shop if there's a lot of like old grass and stuff under there. So we're gonna go ahead and test this. She's running great. Sweet. All right, so now we'll go ahead and, oh, I noticed that this should be secured like so. So I'm gonna take that bolt and I'm probably gonna move it over here since I'm missing one of these bolts. So we're gonna bring it back in the shop. So since I have it running right now, and the battery was technically dead, I'm gonna put my probes on it. I wanna see what the voltage is like right now while it's running, because I'm curious if it's charging, just to make sure the charging system's working. So let me grab my meter real quick. Okay, so with my meter set to DC, I'm gonna go ahead, actually I'll probably just set it right up here. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm gonna set it right here. I'm gonna turn the throttle up, And all I'm doing is connecting these two ends of the leads onto the battery. So one here and one here. It doesn't matter what polarity, because it'll just show negative on there on this particular one. And it's 14.4. So that tells me we got a it's charging, so that's good. There's no issue with the charge system. So we know that it's just the battery was probably just sitting. All right, so.
Well, it's starting now, or probably needs to have the battery charged.
Yeah, the battery needs to get charged, but let's see. Yeah. So now that we got it running, we tested everything. We need to now install a new hood. So I'll just take this.
Dead thing.
Yeah, there's probably dead animal in there somewhere. Yeah, it smells pretty,
Oh, that's disgusting.
yeah.
He makes me pull those out.
Oh yeah, that really smells good.
You might want to take that outside and give her a little rinse off. It's down, it's in the deck belts and stuff. It's on the belts.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna clean her. But for now, I wanna make sure everything is
But we need to move it to charge it.
is good.
Dead rodent barbecue.
So what I'm doing is I'm setting it to standard. I'm gonna set it on a slow charge of 2 amps, and then I'm just going to let it charge, and then we'll go ahead. We have to do a few other things, but then we'll go ahead and come back to it and do the hood.
Thanks, dude.
It really stinks.
What's wrong with it?
He said he got it running by changing the fuel filter.
It works. Okay, so this thing stinks when it runs. We're gonna have to clean it, but we're gonna clean it anyway. So anyway, I put it on the charger overnight. It completely charged up. We're gonna run a quick battery test on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off and grab my battery tester here. So this battery is currently rated at 230 cold cranking amps. And let's see.
Is the O'Reilly special?
Oh yeah, it's an O'Reilly special. These batteries are kind of junk. All right, so it shows 13.4 volts.
You can do it.
And we are, 230 cold cranking amps. It's testing. And it's reading at 304 cold cranking amps. So it's a good battery.
Spicy.
So it's a good battery. So now the last thing we got to do, well, not the last thing, but we need to get the new hood on here. We got to fix that that cow guard basically. We'll put a bolt in there, just to keep this from just flopping down. And then
You got a floppy cow guard.
there, oh, that's where these 2 screws go to, is that fuel pump. So let's get that installed. I just noticed that fuel pump is kind of hanging there. So these are plastic screws. You can tell by how coarse the threads are. And it is, let's go, kind of tuck that through there. Of course, I dropped my screwdriver. There we go. I'll put it through the plastic there. And these you definitely don't want to over torque. Just get them snug because you'll just strip it. So that's snug. And that one's snug. All right, so we will open up this box over here and I'll grab this blade. So this is the old hood. We're probably gonna have to take some parts off that. And then this box contains the new, let's see, a few different pieces here. We'll lay them out.
Don't scratch or damage the beautiful new plastic hood.
It comes with a doily. Look at that cool foam it comes with.
Yeah, it's actually
On the ground so you don't scratch it.
pretty nice. So lay this out.
Keep that foam.
lay this piece out, that piece out, and then this one looks like they must have been throwing this package around quite a bit. So on this one, what do we got? The front. Looks like the front piece. Some hardware. We got to put all this stuff together. So let's see. What do we got to do here? We got these pieces.
It doesn't come with instructions.
Nope, doesn't look like it comes with any instructions.
John Deere gives you no instructions. They expect.
They're like, here you go. Put it together.
Real man, figure it out yourself. No instructions for you.
Exactly. And now we got to figure this maze out. So fortunately we have this old one. And so the bucket goes like so. And so it looks like those kind of slide in. Got one part in. Now we'll get this side and do the same gig. Got to kind of hold it all up and then slide it, lift it. So we got that on. Now I'm going to flip it over gently. At least they gave you this nice sweet yoga mat.
No, that's a good idea.
And if I had to make a guess, this probably needs to go on next. And it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 plastic like screws. So this is probably gonna go like so with these. Let's see here. So yeah, one here, and this. Got one kind of started. Got 3 more. Oh, this actually seats inside. So, like,
Put that in before the bolts went in the front.
you actually might be right, because we got to open this up.
A John Deere puzzle.
Okay, so that's easy.
John Deere puzzle.
So we'll pull that off. Pull this back off. Put that underneath. That goes underneath like so. Perfect, so that's all in. Now we can put this back on. Just making sure everything's feeling flush. Now I can get this piece on. And then this goes in, oops, this way. So it slides in back, or actually kind of hooks, and then on, like so. There we go. So this goes on here, like so. So actually I'm gonna have to take those bolts off and install that, plus add one. So let me take this off. Same with that. Now I can snug her up. Like so, get this started so it doesn't go anywhere. So now that we got this together, we have a few other pieces of hardware over there, which I think actually mounts right here, which is already attached to the mower from the old hood. But we need to transfer the old electrical, like the light bulbs. Take these light bulbs out. The wire harness off of here. So right there and right there. And it looks like this just goes up and over.
You gotta figure out how to get that little emblem off of there.
There we go. So how these go in, of course, you know, they just have the little locks. Just line it up. Push it in and twist it. Which it looks like it goes that way. So let me see if there's slight, can I go like this? There we go, that's better because now the wire's going this way and this goes up. This goes under here, like so. And this guy goes in here. And we can twist that. These all clip back in the same place. All right, I like it. So now we just have the headlight lenses. I'll pull this off. That way it doesn't lock it in there. So this goes on like so. And then now we got to get our screw in there.
They gave us yoga mat. They knew you were gonna be doing yoga.
Yeah, they definitely knew I was going to do a lot of yoga. And it looks like the screw goes right here. There we go. So I'm holding the lens flat. There we go. Now we do the same thing for the other side. We'll get that on like so and hold it in place while I get the screw in. Screw that in place. All right, now we'll flip it over, look everything over, make sure everything is good. Yep, screws on, everything looks good. Now we can install the new hood onto the mower. All right, so I'm tightening this back up because there are locks that helps keep this hood from going further. I believe whoever worked on this prior, they loosened all these up because they're kind of a pain to get reinstalled, this hood here. So they just loosened them all up and pulled them off. So now I got them snug so that you can hold it, pull it up, and it locks into place and it's not resting on this plastic here. We got the new hood on and everything. Now we gotta clean her up and do one final test and then we'll be good to go. But right now, I really gotta get the stink out of this thing because when this thing warms up, whoo, it stinks. So we're gonna go ahead and fire it up. Move her outside. We just got done cleaning her and we just need to do one final test, make sure everything's good, and then we can sell it to the customer. Now she's good to go.